Hello, my name is Trydar. Welcome to part 4 of the Mines of Moria tutorial. Today it's going to be all about side rooms. Alright, so today we have 4 side rooms. We really have 2 designs of side rooms. We just got 2 different lengths of room. So we're going to talk about those. Last time we talked about corridors and everything. I want to double back on that just a little bit and show you some of the corridors that are put together with the modules and the doorways that I described last time. In here, let's shed a little light on that. So in here, we have our large corridor design. And off from this, we have that doorway I talked about. The doorways are optional. But if you want to, you can install those. And of course, this will lead you into the large room design right here. Very nice room. Now, I made a slight error about the spacing. I thought originally you weren't going to be able to put 2 large rooms beside each other. And you can actually do that, but there are some caveats. So here we have another large room. And over here I poked a hole in between this one and another large room right beside it. But as you can see with the wall pattern, you have to put the wall directly up against the other wall. So you won't have any margin for error with that. But if you do that, you can have 2 large rooms right beside each other. One thing you can't have, though, is a large room right beside an L intersect. So we talked about the L intersect last time. This goes the same for the cross and the T. So you cannot have a large room over here, because I did place one in. So if we did that, and we built a large corridor, well, we see a problem over here. And that problem being that the large corridor is wider than the room has space. It's about 2 blocks wider, I think, 2 or 3. You would have to heavily modify the pattern for this. You'd probably have to wall off. You'd probably have to wall off this entire section here. For that, maybe only that much of it. But you would definitely lose some detail in your resolution for your walls. But the good news is, if you do have an L intersect and you want to put a room here in this module, you can put a small one of the small design right here. It's just small enough that you will have literally 1 block of space between the wall of this room and the wall of the corridor. So I wanted to point that out today, because I didn't have this model set up yesterday, which I really should have for that part. So I wanted to double back on that just a little bit. And also, I think it goes without saying, small rooms easily go between other small rooms. So here we have another small room right beside that other one. So let me show you this from the top. Maybe it'll make a little bit more sense. So we've got our L intersect going right here. And over here we have spaces for those doors I talked about. Just like so, the doors that don't work on bedrock, sadly. But you can see here we have a large hall. We have just a little bit of space, a small hall, and a bit of space, and another one here. But over here we can see from the surface, if we do have 2 large hallways next to each other, you can put those next to each other in the hallway design. The only thing is you can't put it too close to the L intersect. Otherwise, it is going to, the design is going to clip in to that room there. And as always, if you don't want to have these automatic doorways, you don't have to have them. You can just move this point here and face it, just move it off to the left and have it be flush with the corridor entrance, and you don't have to have those if you don't want them. They are optional. Okay, so the first thing we're going to need to do is we need to measure some dimensions for the rooms. Let's start with the small ones, and we'll finish with the big ones. So the height of the small room is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 blocks. And you may want to mine out a space all the way up to 16 so you can walk on top of it. to use for your scaffolding as you build it, since we do use the layer methods for those. Of course, the next room is going to be the same dimensions. It's just going to be longer. So let's count out the width of the room. So the width is going to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 blocks wide. They're both going to be 15 blocks wide. But for the length, this one is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So the small room is a cube, but then it's going to be, the long room is going to be another, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 blocks longer than that one. And you may have noticed as we go in here, you can, the middle, if you want to, get creative with the roof design, the ceiling design, these little patterns for the modules, if we split these, you can see we've got about 5 modules here. And accordingly, 5 on the floorway. The floorway? Well, whatever. 5 on the floor. And if you want to, you can subtract or add more wall panels to get either a longer or shorter room. I don't think you can get really much of a narrower room. I think this is about the smallest size that you would want to go with to have a decent sized room. But you can use both this design and the larger design in here. You can see it has the same kind of patterns and panels. It's only taller and wider, so you can expand and contract this room design also to make whatever size room you need. Because let's say you have a redstone contraption you want to build, and you need a longer room. Well, you could build one of these designs here. Just put as many of these extra 3x3 squares with the panels in here as you need to create larger and smaller rooms. Let's measure out the larger, this room design here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 blocks tall. And then it's going to be, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, oops, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 blocks wide. And the length of the shorter room is going to be what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 12, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25 blocks long. That'll be what? 25, 26, 27, 30, 31, 32, 33 blocks long, 33 blocks long at the longest for the long room. So that's all the dimensions that you need to know. As always, for the larger rooms, if you want to make things easier on yourself, you might want to go up an additional 2 blocks to leave yourself some space to build the to sort of use the room as scaffolding as you go. All right, so all that preamble out of the way yet again. Let's start with the patterns for the rooms. We're going to do the small room, and you already know the dimensions. So here's the floor pattern. Pretty easy. I don't think floor patterns get much easier than this in Minecraft. We just see if you have 3x3 squares, 9 of them. Like so with glowstone. For the next one, we want to go around, and I'll put carpet here on top of the pattern for the walls and everything. As you can see, I'll do half of it right there. As you can see, it's a pretty simple pattern. You just want to use all that cobbled deep slate right there where the red wool is. And for the next one, you want to do follow the same designs, extending up the cobbled deep slate. And for the wall panels, you want to put in some obsidian or blackstone. All right, next level up, same deal for the cobbled deep slate right here. You want to use obsidian and redden the brick for the panels, just like so. All the panels, in all the room, just exactly the same. A little detail here over the doorway. 3 blocks of lintel across the doorway to cap that off. And a bit of gold and red nether brick for your wall panels. All right, next phase, red nether brick and glowstone. Just straight deep slate across there. Just like so. In here, you want to follow the same design that we did on the slice before last, with the deep slate and the gold ore and the red nether brick, and here detail of the doorway. All right. Next room here, just like so. I think the pattern's pretty apparent. And next room after that, or rather next block level up, just like so. All right, the next thing you want to do is go around and put cobbled deep slate, just like we did for the first layer, on top of the whole thing. Now we're going to start building the ceiling. So we want to have overhanging blocks here, here, and well, I can't put a torch underneath that one, but that block there, right here, all the way around and in all the corners, just like so. All right, next level up, bit of red nether brick. We want to these sort of attached pilasters. We want to extend those up, and well, they're more like ribbing than a pilaster. But that's a subtle distinction. But we want to ring the whole thing around with red nether brick, and we want to have the ribs sort of reaching up towards each other, like so. There. Here's the top section here. And there we are, a bit of red nether brick, and this squarish circular feature here in the middle. Well, you know, Minecraft, this is everything. All of our circles are very squarish, just like so. And on top of that, you just want to lay down this right here, some obsidian, gold ore, and glowstone for a little accent detail right there in your ceiling. Very nice. If you want to get more fancy, you could hang down a chandelier from up there. Perhaps put down a hopper and then a chain for several blocks, and then maybe some fences, or perhaps some walls, and put some candles or some lanterns on top of that. If you want to make yourself a nice little lantern. That's not included in this tutorial. That's just a little bonus suggestion. All right. For the next room, let's go back here and take a look at that. Now, as you can see, let me get a little altitude. So if we look over here on the right, that's the room we started with. And this one over here is just an extension of that design. We're just adding 6 more panels for a total of 3, 6, 9, 12, 13, 15 panels there. And so the design of the room would be the same as we did before, just like that with the cobblestone, except we're just extending it farther out this way. So if you want to figure out how big your room should be, you can do that entirely from the floor by subtracting or adding however many of these you want in that direction to make it however long or short that your space has. So once you have done that, you can see the pattern here is just the same. Same again. I'm not going to go over this too much because I think if you built a small room and you just followed through the previous step, then all of this is going to be the same. But I'm going to show it to you, for the sake of completion. But we're just going to take a quick look at it until we get to the ceiling, where there's some minor differences in the pattern. And then over here. So you can see we now have 2 of our square circles. Just like that there. We can see that in the middle we have stretched out this part here to be flat. And we've just done a little detail with some cobblestone, some cobbled deep slate and some red nether brick right there. And, and the last, and the ceiling phase is missing. What's in this one over here? We saw it earlier. Let's go back and take a look at it. I'm not sure why that was missing. Must have sliced something incorrectly. But the last phase is going to be just the obsidian and the gold ore, just like we did before, to fill in the tops of those, which you might have already guessed from the first part. All right. So that's the small rooms. Now let's take a look at the large rooms. All right, so the large rooms, or the smallest of the large rooms, will be this design right here. That's what, 4, 8, it's 20 squares, I think, is how many that is. And of course, for the larger room, you would add, oh heck, I don't know, however many more that is, 28 maybe, for that. But you can see from this room here, all you have to do to figure out how big or small you want it is to extend or contract the number of floor squares. And here for the large room, I've just sliced it down the middle so we can see the entire room in profile. All right, so let's take a look at the smallest of the large rooms so we can get the pattern. Now the doorway is a little bit bigger over on this one, so it's got a little bit of a different pattern. Right here. I'll lay down some carpet here so you can easily count everything out. And I think that here is going to be the center line for the room. So that's the foundation level there, all out of deep slate, except for the doorway. All right, next level up. Detail over here for the doorway. Don't worry about those blocks; they're just hidden in the back. You don't see those. You don't have to build those. So detail here again, obsidian and cobbled deep slate, just like we did before in the first room. Here for the doorway. Same patterns again here for the next level. Here's our doorway again, capping that off with red nether brick, outlining it with some obsidian though. And the wall modules, all the wall modules, I think goes without saying, are the same, just like we did for the very large halls, those huge wall modules we had to build. Well, we're just building tiny versions of those inside our little room here. All right, so detail for the doorway. The next panel. Detail for the doorway. Cap that off with some obsidian right there. And the wall panel. Cap all that off again with cobbled deep slate. And the wall panel. And right here, we're above the level of the doorway, so all the panels are now the same. Over here, okay, so the large wall panel, because this one goes up a little bit higher, this is where we diverge a little bit from these small wall panels. They've been following the same design up until now, but now they're going to be just a little bit different. They've got some different details on them. Just like so on that end, and then along this end, and then back along that end. All right, back here. We're just doing every other block with different blocks, just like so. Red, black, and gray. And then across here, we're starting to build the archway. So it's hanging over a block with all the red nether brick and the 4 blocks of deep slate on both sides. All right, for the next one, all of this goes straight up. Right here. And straight up here as well, with just an accent block of obsidian in those. All right, next level. Detail here. and another block overhang right here, all along the edge, with the red nether brick, the obsidian, and the cobbled deep slate. All right, here at this wall also. Those are just going straight up. Same for this wall back over here. And straight up along the sides. We're doing that 1-to-2 ratio thing again that we did. Over here, we've got more details. Alternating blocks, cobblestone and obsidian. And another block overhang right here. All right, here we go again. Just going straight up here for that. And along the sides, but now it's all red nether brick. All right, next phase. We're attaching our lintels now to our dwarven arches. So you just want to make a big box of cobbled deep slate, go all around, and wherever these pillars are in a 1-to-3 ratio, just connect them all. You want to end up with 4 of those in the middle. Depending on however many modules you have, if we're doing a large room, we would do we would just have more of those. Penultimate phase here. We want to go around and extend up our cobbled deep slate along the wall, but do one little last overhang here, just along the sides, so we can get 3x3 coffers in the middle. We want to have, 10 of those little 3x3 coffers in the middle. And then you want to fill the top of them with gold ore and glowstone to complete the ceiling design, just like so. Now, I don't think I went to the trouble of slicing up the entire larger hallway into this design here, because I think you can see now that we've done 2 of these, just how modular they are. Specifically this one. That one had a different ceiling design, so I sliced it up, but this one here, it just has coffers in the ceiling, and they're all 3x3. So all you would have to do, I mean, the core of this room is really just this module right here. So if we mirrored this on the other side, we would get a full section of a room, and we could just build another one, another one over here, 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 and here, and here, depending on however many of these we wanted to get the room be however large or short that we want it to have. It's a pretty simple repeating pattern. Don't think you'll have any trouble at all building that. It's probably one of the simplest elements we have in the Moria series. But we did have to start with the main hall, and then the corridors, and then the rooms. There is, for the next part, I think, there is the smaller design of hallway that I want to go tackle. I think we're done with the rooms. But to close out today, let me go over here. I think with probably one more part to this series. I think. So over here for this room design here, I did slice that up, and it is on the world, but I'm not going to go through it because the only difference between that this one and that one are these 2 columns, and the only difference between these 2 columns is this section here. Right there, you see this section on the bottom here? Well, the rest of this column in the middle here is just that pillar here. Conversely, also, the capital on the top there is also that they are just taken out and not put on top of this. And the roof design, the ceiling, is exactly the same between the 2. So let me, a little dark. Let me splash a potion. So you can see here we do have the shorter column design right here, but it's still got the same ceiling design that we used for the large hallway. The only difference between that is going to be in the wall paneling. And for that, I'll just go over here and give you a quick look at this. I think You know, it's not too different from the wall panel we already did. It's got all the same design features. It's just a little bit shorter in some of its details. I think it has a little bit less gold ore in that section there. I think that's mostly what's missing, and everything else just a little bit shorter than that. But for the next part, we do have the smaller design with these little 3x3 columns instead of the big 5x5. So if you want to have smaller and different sizes of hallways, we do have this one last design right here, which is what we will have to take a look at next time. And I hope you all have been enjoying the Moria series. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time.